Hello and welcome to Archvelder's Hacks with Archvelder and his amazing hacks. This is the exploit guide for skinning in World of Warcraft patch 8.3. This is an exploit guide rather than a basic entry-level skinning guide. If you are new to World of Warcraft or new to skinning, I'll link to some other resources which will help you in the description box below. There's a lot of interest in skinning in the gold making community right now because of the potential to create impressive amounts of raw gold through leatherworking shuffles, as shown in multiple videos by gold making channels. In this video I'm going to show you how to make even more raw gold than even the most powerful known public techniques can generate. Powerful as these techniques are, even they are dwarfed by the power of some of the private techniques on my Patreon. We currently have a working gold and experience dupe, so now is an excellent time to join if you were thinking about it and can afford it. Anyway, back to the skinning. Skinning profitability on current content is determined mainly by the DPS of the skinner. The more the better. Now, if your DPS is lacking for whatever reason, or even if it isn't and you just want to do more of it, there's a trick which really helps and effectively increases your eye level. To illustrate how this works, let's look at the popular dungeon Atal Dazar. Unless you are new to YouTube or Warcraft, you've probably seen this farm merchant before. The basic idea behind this gold farm is that you round up all the trash packs of dinosaurs in the initial area, DPS them down, skin them, run out of the instance, reset it, respawning the trash, and repeat. You can then craft all the bones and scales into shimmer scale strikers with leatherworking and vendor these, and this is reckoned to make about 8,000 gold per hour. You must get some Dark Moon Firewater to do this farm, and also use the add-on Faster Loot. Observe the huge difference in skinning time here. This is with no add-ons and no Firewater. And this is with Firewater and Faster Loot. Now, to dramatically increase the speed and viability of this farm, first go to Legion Dalaran. Speak to Archmage Tamir in the Violet Hold, and select the option Show me a vision of the Betrayer's Rise. Once you have entered this LFR raid, immediately teleport out. Now, whenever you want to reset your DPS cooldowns, teleport back into the instance. Aggro cooldown and drop combat, then leave. This resets the cooldowns on major DPS abilities like Time Warp. This is a major boost to your damage and your effective eye level. Let's return to Atal Dazar and show you how to use this trick. But first I'm going to show you how to round up the trash and exploit the NPC pathing here to your advantage. As you can see, I'm gathering up all the skinnable mobs. Now watch closely as I jump onto this ledge here and keep your eye on the NPCs. As you can see there's no direct path for the NPCs to get onto the ledge. NPCs can't jump unlike player characters. So what happens is they teleport directly to your location. And this makes it very easy to use area of effect abilities to kill them all, and also to skin them since they're all in exactly the same position. With some practice I could kill almost all the trash in just over 2 minutes with a single pull, as I'm demonstrating here. When you factor in the time spent porting out, you're looking at about 7,000 raw gold in 20 to 25 minutes or less, which when normalized to a full hour is around 16 to 17k raw gold, which makes it the best raw gold farm in the game. It may take you a bit of practice to get this right, and I wouldn't attempt it with less than eye level 440, except for tanks. When I jump on the ledge here, I immediately use Purifying Blast and then Ice Block. Note that you have to use the reset cooldown trick in order for this to work because Ice Block has a 5-minute cooldown. You'll also need all your healing and DPS cooldowns unless you have a very high eye level. Now, skin the mobs and observe how much easier it is because they're all in one place. You can just literally stand there and spam the skin button. And now you don't have to waste time running back to the entrance. You can teleport to the Betrayer's Rise instance and reset your cooldowns. When you've done that, you teleport out and you'll be returned to the front of the Atal Dazalor instance. Now, there's been a lot of talk recently in the gold making community about skinning in the Broken Isles, particularly a very interesting video from Kraken Latte, which I'll link to in the description below, where she uses stonehide leather to flip into warhide pants. The warhide pants you can make with leatherworking, and then vendor them. This makes around 10,000 gold per hour, including all the crap you get while skinning. Now, this works well. In fact, a bit too well, because even on my realm, which has been struggling with population for years, it was very difficult to get a spot in world to myself, such as this Falcasaur farming area in Azuna. There's a solution to this that will increase your gold per hour and has no competition, and that's to run Darkheart Thicket. Darkheart is one of those dungeons that looks fairly uninteresting from a gold making perspective, but it has a secret advantage I've never seen mentioned anywhere, which is that all the trash near the entrance is skinnable. Do the following run up to, but not including, the first boss. Kill all the trash and skin it. This should take you around 2 minutes. There's a lot of trash. It doesn't seem to make any difference whether you do this on heroic or normal mode for the purposes of loot. So do it on normal mode because the trash is slightly easier to kill. To make the most of this, you'll need Stonehide Leather Skinning rank 3 and also Storm Scale rank 3. That's slightly less important, but it's advisable to get it. And finally, you'll need Legion Gutting. Now, from this farm you'll get around 140 Stonehide Leather and 25 Storm Scale. As previously mentioned, the Stonehide Leather can be turned into Warhide Pants, and the Storm Scale can be turned into battle-bound hauberks by leatherworkers. These both require 16 of each material and sell for 36 gold. In addition to this, you'll receive some trash items in the occasional green, as well as Bloods of Sagras, which can be exchanged for more Stonehide Leather from Ilnir Bloodthorn in Dalaran. Overall, you'll make around 4,000 gold in 20 minutes before you hit Instance Lockout. Normalised to an hour, that's 12,000 gold per hour, which is extraordinary for a raw gold farm in legacy content that anyone can do as soon as they hit 120. Now, after you've hit Instance Lockout, you might want to try this great little farm in Stormheim. For this farm, you'll need the item Feast of the Fishes, which is a Legion cooking item. This actually turns you into a fish and allows you to breathe underwater. Why would you want to do this? Because it dramatically increases the profitability of aquatic farms. You can move 400% faster underwater using this buff, and just move north along the seabed, killing these groups of crabs. Then head east and circle round Watchman's Rock. This is the best open world storm scale farm that I've found. Each group of crabs drops between 20 to 40 storm scale, which, as I mentioned previously, can be turned into battle-bound hauberks by leatherworkers. The Feast of the Fishes buff only lasts 5 minutes, but can be extended indefinitely by another Legion cooking item, Crispy Bacon. Excellent and enjoyable as this farm is, it's really the concept here that's valuable. It can be applied to all kinds of situations. Another storm scale farm, and one that involves the partial farming of an instance, can be found in the Eye of Ashara dungeon. The area around the boss Serpentrix is filled with multiple crabs and hydras. These can all be skinned. This must be done on heroic difficulty. On normal difficulty, there just aren't enough crabs to skin. It'll take you approximately 2 minutes and 30 seconds to round up all the trash and skin it. This will give you an average of 140 storm scale per run, assuming rank 3 storm scale. When you add in the other crap you get from this farm, it's very similar to the profitability of Darkheart Thicket. The main difference being that because you get storm scale rather than stonehide, Your profits will be slightly less on the auction house and slightly more if you choose to turn the storm scale into battle-bound hauberks with a leatherworker and then vendor it. There's one trick those of you with an alt army can use in the Broken Isles, which involves the boons, specifically the boon of the Butcher and also the boon of the Blood Hunter. You will need High Mountain and Warden reputations at Honoured and Revered to purchase these. They can't be sent to other characters, but you can get around this by enchanting heirloom shoulders with them and then sending them in the mail to your alts. Now, when you are farming items with the boon enchants on the shoulders of your alts and they proc, you should get bags full of skinning materials or bloods of Sargeras, which can be exchanged for skinning materials at Ilnir Bloodthorn in Dalaran, as shown previously. Now, you'd think this boon proc would occur randomly, but in fact the RNG is heavily skewed and has a long internal cooldown. If you farm a large clump of mobs, you will almost always get a number of bags dropping straight away. If you keep farming, you won't get anything for another half an hour. The thing is, the cooldown is not shared between different characters, so if you just farm a dense area of mobs for 2 minutes, you should get the boon bags dropping every time. The characters don't even need skinning. All you need to do is switch between characters every couple of minutes. The best overall skinning location in the Broken Isles is in this area at the tower on the Isle of the Wardens, which has these ever-spawning fellhounds. The problem with this location is that it is camped 24/7. However, if no one is claiming the skins, this sometimes happens with these instant spawn locations, you can just skin everything, and this is one of the most lucrative situations in WoW that doesn't involve exploits. Here, a level 3 skinner gets about 5 stonehide leather a second, or around 12 gold equivalent per second. If you have Mother's skinning knife, you can just stand there and spam the skin button continuously. Another method I published previously, which was developed originally by a chap called Basic, is this amazing yak method, which, amazingly, was never fixed by Blizzard. I'll link to the original video I made about it below, but essentially you get the quest Mogu at the Gates, and that gives you this yak vehicle. If you spam the yak vehicle and immediately exit, you get a yak as a pet, and you can do this infinitely. You can bring the yaks into the Vale. Don't go directly into the Vale through the gate. There's some kind of phasing conflict with a quest which causes the yaks to despawn. Go via the route I'm showing here. Now we're taking the yaks to this location in the southwest corner of the Vale. Now what you can't see at all here is me farming the wolves in this area with my yaks. The yaks are quite difficult to control, but a chap by the name of Flop, who commented on the original video, discovered how best to use the yaks. Quotes, "I found that if you get off your mount and walk like 10 yards to your target while you have your target right-clicked, the yaks will always attack and charge after your initial auto-attack. That equals a one-shot." End quote. However, there's still a major problem with getting the yaks to help you kill mobs to skin them, and that's that you can't see bloody anything because there's yaks everywhere. Now there's a powerful if somewhat raw and undeveloped trick players with access to a Lightforged Draenei have access to. Lightforged Draenei have a racial ability called Light's Reckoning. Light's Reckoning emits a powerful blast from the player when they die. In instances when you die, you are generally transported back to the entrance, and this is exploitable. If you can drag the trash to the entrance point and spam the following macro, that's /run repop me, the Draenei turns into this pulsating death machine as they die repeatedly. This will kill literally anything. There's a lot of potential for this exploit, particularly with multi-boxing. The difficulty is in pulling trash to the entrance without dying in the process. A two-man team with a tank can be quite effective here. Finally, I noticed many people recommending the skinning farm in Gorilla Gorge as a way to pad out the hour after farming a Tal Dazor. That's Gorilla Gorge in the southwest of Zuldazar. This area does have a lot of quickly respawning gorillas, and the primary drop is coarse leather. This did not seem to be especially profitable given the current auction house prices for coarse leather. If coarse leather is selling well on your realm, you might want to give this a go. Interestingly, there is actually a leatherworking shuffle here if you want to avoid the auction house. You can use the coarse leather and bloodstained bones to make coarse leather cestices, which vendor for 57 gold. So, in conclusion, is skinning worth it? That depends on your criteria. So, for example, relative to running a simple gold farm like Iron Docks or Skyreach, which max out at about 5k gold an hour, it's pretty good because it isn't that hard to get over 8,000 raw gold per hour. Skinning is a lot more profitable than any open world raw gold farm and most basic gameplay activities like world quests. It is also significantly more profitable than running old raids, unless you use the highly optimized LFR approach I've covered in previous videos. Skinning is not going to be as profitable generally as things like transmog farming. However, transmog is very difficult to sell at all currently and requires enormous patience not that many people have. Skinning is not ever going to be as profitable as high-level trading strategies such as automated auction house flipping, pet arbitrage and so on. However, those things require a lot of initial capital, study and again patience. If you want to push the envelope further, I'd suggest you consider joining my Patreon, where we have a treasure trove of incredibly valuable gold-making methods that you won't see published elsewhere. Mostly published by myself, but also increasingly from a surprisingly large group of dedicated players. As of this moment, we have a powerful working experience and gold use. So if you want to sign up, do so now because it likely won't last very long. So there's the video. If you liked it, why not subscribe? And remember to click the bell notification in order that you do actually get recommendations. Thanks for watching. This has been Altrelder.